In a season that has been characterized by Copeland Motorsports domination at the front of the field, we turn our sights to a newer racing venue in the form of Barber Motorsports Park in a hope to shake up the series a little bit and see what we are able to get out here. Hello everyone and welcome to the Toyota GR Cup North America race number 1 from Barber Motorsports Park. My name is DJ Clark, delighted to be joined once again in the commentary booth by Kyle Heyer. Kyle, we've got about 27 cars, 28 cars ready to take to this track, and it's going to be a good one.
I'm very excited. This is a first for the series here, making their first start at Barber Motorsports Park. So your notebook is very thin. You don't have a lot of pages in it. You also had a wet practice yesterday. Didn't really teach you a lot about the conditions that we have here today, but there are some drivers in this field that have been to this racetrack and other single-make championships in the past. That experience, I think, is going to pay off at this fast and flowing 2.3-mile track.
Yeah, a very technical racing circuit. Not a lot of opportunities to get an overtake done, but I'll tell you what, it more than makes up for those little eccentricities in elevation change and flow in rhythm and just in facilities alone. They call this place the Augusta of motorsports venues, and they are not wrong.
They're not wrong at all. And you mentioned this racetrack flowing. It's got a ton of elevation change. It happens in a hurry, DJ. But let's roll through the starting lineup, DJ.
On pole position, as he has been many times this year, it's Gresham Wagner. Weston Workman, his teammate in Copeland Motorsports, will start to his outside in the number 13. Lucas Weisenberg for Lucas Racing starts in third position, hoping to play spoiler. Robusto for RVA Graphics Motorsports will start P4. Then it's Spike Kohlbecker, winner from last time out, alongside Jackson Bell. Devin Anderson and Maximilian Hewitt will make up row 4. As we move back into row 5, it's Miles Hewitt and another one of the Copeland Motorsports cadre in the form of Mia Lovell.
Starting in 11th place, row 6, Jordan Rick Segrini alongside 14-year-old Jackson Tobo in the number 30. Henry Drury kicks off 13th place in the 88 alongside Alex Garcia in the number 14 machine. Stephen Clemens rolls off 15th in the number 76 from BSI Racing, and Casey Mashore in 16th in the number 50. That's Luke Rumberg in 17th place, Miki Onaga in the Hattori Motorsports 75, and then Ford Cook and Jade Evandizian wrapping up row number 10.
Tech Sport Racing's Aiden Kirk will start off 21st with Matty Oust to his outside. Then it's Alfonso Diaz and another Tech Sport Racing machine. Jason Coase will be to his outside. And then moving back into the final row, it's James Klimas that will make up this field here today. As we get ready to go, working our way through the back half of the circuit right now. Kyle, quickly, what are your keys to victory?
Keys to victory, keep it on the racetrack here. Not a lot of paved runoff. It's going to be aggressive. There's only 2 real passing opportunities, turn 5 and turn number 9. If you get it wrong, it's going to cost you, and the championship is still mathematically possible for some others to win.
Yeah, you're going to have to try to keep everything together and see who can beat Gresham Wagner. That black and Dayglow machine starting on pole position in the number 5. The field works their way on to the start-finish straightaway, working their way into the acceleration zone, and there goes the green. We are racing here in Barber Motorsports Park. It's a brilliant getaway there from Weston Workman, but he's not quite able to get it to play around Gresham Wagner.
3 wide behind him and 1 car way out wide. That's Casey Mashore in the bright yellow there, DJ. Gets it back on track. They keep it all straight, but the frantic start, we knew it was coming.
And Wagner's already got a good lead on the front of the field. It looks like Lucas Weisenberg has lost a position. That's Will Robusto trying to make a little bit of a run here at this point. I see farther back in the field, many drivers trying to be able to make up as much position as they can. Maximilian Hewitt trying to dive to the inside. That's looking down to the inside on a big move there. Look at that, down to the inside of Mia Lovell. That was Jordan Rick Segrini.
Squeeze play there. The blue and pink car, Alex Garcia, was center 3 wide. Casey Mashore still got some right tires in the dirt. The battle for third is on, though. It's Lucas Weisenberg on driver's left and Will Robusto on driver's right as they head into the downhill here. You got to get this right. Straight line over the curbing.
Yeah, and we're going to see a couple of drivers trying to make this 2 wide. Segrini there, one of them trying to see what he is able to do. The number 31 machine there as well. That is going to be Luke Rumberg, and they are able to sort themselves out clean and green thus far through the lap. There, oh, nice one by Mia Lovell coming through 10 and 11.
Henry Drury goes for a slide out wide there. You have to get the car back on course. Race control won't want you crossing over those grass boundaries here. Spike Kohlbecker had a grid penalty from a qualifying infraction earlier. Here comes the 39 of Hewitt up Devin Anderson's inside. This is tight down into turn 15.
Oh, that's not normally an overtaking opportunity, but don't tell that to the number 39 machine of Maximilian Hewitt. He is going to take that power down on the 22 of Anderson. Nicely done there for that BSI Racing driver.
Ooh, Jade Evandizian, all 4 tires on the curb alongside Stephen Clemens in the 76 PSI racing car as Gresham Wagner runs through turn 1. His gap was growing, but Weston Workman closed in the last sector or two.
And how many times have we said that over the course of this year? Everybody trying to catch Gresham Wagner as much as possible. Lucas Weisenberg shuffled back courtesy of Robusto there. They're going to climb over the hill here over turn 4 and line up for turn 5.
We talked to Lucas Weisenberg the other day, and he told us that because of the lack of experience some drivers have on this racetrack, that the experience of those that have more time in race cars are going to probably help you here. Spike Kohlbecker is alongside Jackson Bell, and what a great battle this is for P5 at the moment.
This is going to be on the run down into Museum Corner. Now, traditionally, Bell's going to be on the preferred line here, diving down into it, tries to squeeze Kohlbecker out of the way. Spike tries to hold in as much as possible, but it's not going to play. Jackson Bell will hold on to P5.
And as is common in side-by-side battles here, it folded in the passenger side wing mirror on the 55 car, so Spike Kohlbecker will not have a great blind spot view over the right shoulder for the rest of this race.
Yeah, that's a little bit like a badge of honor here in the Toyota GR Cup North America Series, but Kohlbecker with a great run coming down through the sweepers of 10 and 11. Thought about going down to the inside there of 12, but thought better of it. Great compression through this part of the track. That left handle kind of throws you down into a roller coaster and brings you right back up.
Yeah, Spike's got a lot of momentum after VIR and Road America, and this grid penalty takes him out of the fight for the pointy end, so he's got to pass a few of these cars, and you've got to be aggressive. It's so tricky to overtake here that even if you're fast, you have to have luck like this as Bell goes wide at the exit at turn 17, opens the door for Spike Kohlbecker. That makes it a little easier to pass.
Yeah, it certainly does. Maximilian Hewitt also thinking about trying to get that run as well, but it's just going to be Kohlbecker that gets it there. Good car control from Jackson Bell to keep that car underneath him, but a very, very hairy moment for the Copeland Motorsport driver.
You know, drivers told us this surface is fairly abrasive. It's smooth as far as the width across the racetrack, but it is abrasive, and you have to charge and be so aggressive. There's camber you can lean on, banking you can lean on. The corner speeds are so high that the grip limit is very edgy, so when you step over that like Jackson Bell did there, you don't get a lot of chance to recover it before you find yourself in the dirt.
Maximilian Hewitt thinking down to the inside, trying to see if he can get a little bit of a run on Bell. I don't think it's going to play there. Defensive line up front from Robusto, maybe just trying to see if he could get Weisenberg to bite, but Weisenberg's going to keep up the attack here, diving down into Museum Corner. He's going to be hoping for a better run, seeing if he can do what Mia Lovell did earlier in this race and get a move through the sweepers of 10 and 11.
Yeah, Weisenberg spent a lot of time on the simulator prepping for this event, and at a racetrack that you haven't been to before. He'd never turned a single lap around here in the real world till yesterday, so that sim practice seemingly has helped him as he is all over the back of Robusto here for that third spot, and they're chasing Weston Workman, who just ran the best lap of the race.
And this is exactly what Weston Workman wants to see in his rearview mirror. He wants to see a battle taking place for the last stop on the podium, because that's going to allow him to put all of his focus in chasing down Gresham Wagner up in front.
Yeah, Wagner is one of the drivers that does have experience here. Last raced in 2019 in another single make series and found some success there as well. So he's just putting in clean lap after clean lap and actually was able to edge out Weston Workman that time through, but Robusto on defense from Lucas Weisenberg, who's in the gear wrench car in the mirror of that number 11.
Thought for a second we were going to see Weisenberg try to go around the outside of the Alabama roller coaster, but decided not to do it. He's instead just going to tuck up into line, maybe looking for an opportunity to get a better launch down into turn 5 and get that out-braking maneuver. Looks like there Robusto's going to close him off. Here's a nice little side-by-side battle farther back in the field.
Yeah, Ford Cook, Stephen Clemens, Jade Avedizian in that group. Jade's going to look drivers left down into turn 5, heavy braking zone. Clemens, you see the car wobbling back and forth in the Bosch ABS. The braking zones are so late. You have to commit at the latest possible moment. And here's a commitment, Weisenberg on the 11.
That's the second time we've seen him think about a move going down into Museum Corner. He's got to be careful. If he keeps leaving that door open, Spike Kohlbecker, who has immediately joined into this battle after passing Jackson Bell, he now is going to be a part of it, and he'll be looking to try to make a move on Weisenberg.
Yeah, things are tightening up here for the battle for third. Robusto, Weisenberg, and now Spike Kohlbecker, who just dropped a tire there at the exit of turn 11. So this is going to be a fun scrum here between these two. Look at the commitment from Robusto, slamming the curb, 2 tires up in the air.
Absolutely incredible stuff. That is a driver who knows exactly what his car limits are and exactly how to be able to take it. Weisenberg, a little bit of a a wider line there coming into the corner, a little bit off the apex into 16. Now plunging down into turn 17. Call that gap about a car length and a half as they come across the line. Let's see what it is in units here at this point between Robusto and Weisenberg. 0.2 of a second, and nobody poking out a line coming into one.
It seems like this is where Lucas is a little better than the 11, is the tail end of the lap right into the Alabama roller coaster, as they call it, this run down the hill and then back up again, but not close enough this time to really be on the bumper of the 11. It's all about carrying momentum, and I think Lucas might be able to drive away from the 11, but you have to do the chess match to make the move to take down that third place car.
Not quite close enough to even have a look, but Kohlbecker's going to close in a little bit on the back of Weisenberg unless he's able to get a great launch off of turn 5, which he does.
Yeah, and again, this third place battle, they're going to look up ahead and see those front two pulling away, but there's not much they can do about it. Somebody's got to lead this train. You got to get the strongest locomotive out in front, and I'm not sure it's ordered that way at the moment.
No, it's really not. Weisenberg, again, looked like he had more speed coming out of 5, but couldn't do anything with it. Now it's going to be Kohlbecker on the attack. Weisenberg on the defense there. Kohlbecker in that white, red, and blue machine. As you mentioned earlier, Weisenberg in that black and orange gear wrench car.
Yeah, nobody's lifting on that run through 10 and 11. We talked about that yesterday, DJ, when we were watching practice. It's so on the limit there. Wow, big cut for Robusto. 4 tires over the curb, in the grass. That's getting a little cheeky over there. I wonder if race control have a look at that.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a message from race control saying, watch out. Also, he needs to watch out because that's Lucas Weisenberg almost giving him a little bit of the fender there at that point coming through the corner. I think Lucas has got some speed. He wants to use it. Here they come down through 17. It's going to be Robusto, Weisenberg, Kohlbecker all on top of each other. This is the best run Weisenberg has had. He's all over the back. He's forced to go to the outside of 1, but that will become the inside of 2.
Here comes Lucas on the outside. This is a tough line to hold, but if he can, he's going to have to pass. Side by side through turn 1 into turn 2. Lucas Weisenberg powering through to third place in this race.
Oh, that was just pretty from the Lucas Racing driver. He gets the move done. Absolutely picture perfect there at that point. And now it's on to Spike Kohlbecker to try to get this move done on Robusto.
Oh, here comes Robusto, late on the brakes here into 5. He wants it back, and they're going to be door to door. Slip, slide. Here comes Spike in the 55 up behind him.
Yeah, but it looks like that outside line is going to allow for Weisenberg to carry a little bit more momentum here. Kohlbecker now going to be the one trying to attack on Robusto as they fly down into Museum Corner. Weisenberg able to hold the corner. Kohlbecker able to get the move. Robusto shuffled down 2 positions in a lap.
Yeah, that was a lot of aggression there into 5, and it cost him on corner exit. But I think Kohlbecker might even be quicker than Lucas Weisenberg's gear wrench car. The front 2 leaders are gone. This is a battle for third at the moment. There's a lot of racing left to go, though.
Yeah, there's a lot left to go here. Still over 35 minutes left on the clock as Weisenberg is hunting for a way to get by Lucas Weisenberg here at this point. Looks down to the inside, coming through the corners. Weisenberg catches a little bit of the grass on the outside. Doesn't look like it arrests his momentum.
He's got to run right now because he's got a hungry driver in behind him. Spike Kohlbecker from Tech Sport Racing carrying the Tech Sport flag here up behind the one-off entry of Lucas Weisenberg, or I guess family team entry, chasing the Copeland teammates at the pointy end of the field. As we head down towards turn number 1 again, 35 minutes to go, and it's Wagner by 1.8 over Workman. Then it's Weisenberg, Kohlbecker, Robusto, and Jackson Bell.
Yeah, a little bit of dirt kicked up in front. I'm not sure if that was from Wagner or from Workman. Point of reference, Workman did just set the personal best lap on the race. But look at this train that's starting to develop here at this point, Kyle. That's also Max Miller Hewitt that's been able to catch up to the back of it here at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars all running nose to tail.
I'm watching Lucas Weisenberg carefully because he is beginning to stretch the distance back to Kohlbecker. Not by much, but just by a little. It makes me think 2023 VIR, who was third place and ran down the 2 leaders? Lucas Weisenberg.
Yeah, his maiden and only victory in the series up to this point. We know Weisenberg has got that winning pedigree. We know he can do it, and he's been able to grow that gap a little bit over Spike Kohlbecker. Wider line down through turn 8, but I think that allows him to carry a little bit more speed, and this is what I was talking about with Barber Motorsports Park. There are so many technical corners on this track that you think are one line only, but if you're a little ingenuitive, you can get away around.
Bert go the curbs there at the exit of the chicane. You can hear drivers all the way up. 4 tires on the rumble strips there. That high-pitched buzzing sound. Fort Cook chasing Casey Mashore. There's Alex Garcia, who's pulling double duty this weekend. in a front drive car in the TC America Series, so he's getting both experiences at high speed behind a new driver, Miles Hewitt, in the BSI Racing 17.
Yeah, good to see Miles here. Obviously, brother to Maximilian Hewitt there, sharing the BSI cars. Ooh, big wiggle there for the number 31 of Luke Rumberg, and Hewitt didn't need second asking. He took a look to the inside of turn 16. We jump back up to that battle near the front of the field here as Spike Kolbecker now starting to grow a little bit of a gap over the 11 of Robusto.
Yeah, and Lucas is not quite able to eat into the advantage of Weston Workman and Gresham Wagner, but he's not far off, about a 1/10.5 difference. So, you know, there's enough time left in this race. It still could go the other way, but it does appear that Wagner and Workman might make this a two-horse race for first place.
And they might be able to, but the other flip of that is that if they start to battle a little bit, it could bring it back into it. Granted, Wagner's got about a 2-second gap in the front of the field. We check back in here as that's Alex Garcia trying to go for a little bit of a move on Hewitt down to the inside of turn 5. I said that was the overtaking opportunity, and he got it.
And over under, the 17 tried to do it, but he wasn't able to throttle down in time. These cars use the stock flat 4 engine that comes in these cars from factory, about 230 horsepower. They're using all of it at 7,500 RPM. Here is the red line through that set of 6-speed sequential transmission, and down through the corkscrew and up onto the back straightaway again.
Yeah, here they go, that line of cars. Alex Garcia directly behind. That's Miles Hewitt, Mashore, Cook, Clements, Avedisi, and the rest of that run here at this point. See if this maybe starts to play here a little bit. Again, we're just seeing this snake of cars that is so difficult to overtake here at Barber Motorsports Park.
You can see drivers are trying to extract every ounce of grip out of this circuit. Just dust hanging over the air there. Turn 14, big look, trouble. The 50 car is going to get knocked sideways by Ford Cook. He gathers it up. What a save there. That thing was hung out sideways, and here comes Avedisi into the inside of Clements.
Nice move, Clements out onto the grass. That's going to cost him a little bit of speed. Gathers the car back up underneath him, and good opportunistic attack there by Jade Avedisi. And Hewitt now taking a look to the outside of Garcia, looking for the over-under, coming down through 1 and into the Alabama roller coaster. Not able to get it done. Well defended there by Alex Garcia.
But watch Alex drift a little wide here, late in the corner, in the 17, trying to get to the inside on corner exit. The corner's so long, you can take a few different lines through it, but there's sort of a groove that you get into and rocket up out of it. So if you can nail that just right, you can carry speed all the way to your passing opportunity down here at 5.
A little bit of an earlier turn in for the 17 of Miles Hewitt. Doesn't look like it costs him all that much. Indeed, it looks like he's actually able to gain a little bit on Alex Garcia as they make the run now towards the corkscrew, as you called it, Museum Corner, whatever you want to say. It's that 8-9 complex.
Yeah, it's not like the corkscrew on the West Coast, but it's a little bit, has some of the same character. You drop down a couple of stories into a compression and accelerate onto a straightaway. And this line of cars, they've been quite aggressive. And, you know, that last corner, the 14, 15, 16 complex, it's a triple apex right-hander. As you drift out wide to set up for the last right-hander there, it opens the door. And that is like the siren song for a trailing driver. They see that gap and they want to go for it, but it will always close.
Yeah, it will always close because you need to close the door to be able to get that apex exactly right. A little bit of a sideways motion there from Alex Garcia.
Watch this. You see the 21. The door opens.
Yep.
He wanted to go down the inside. That's what got the contact last time by, but this time he learned from it, didn't jam the car up to the inside of the 50.
Keeping my eye here on Casey Mashore and that number 50 yellow machine, as it looks like he could be under a little bit of pressure here from the 21 of Ford Cook. Cook in that black and purple machine there that you see kind of poking out of line. Ford certainly thought about it, wanted to make that move, but thought better of it in the long run.
Into turn 2 again. Everyone taking a very shallow entry there because you've got so much speed coming out of that first corner. That's a 4th gear turn. That's a high speed turn 1. You're going downhill into a compression and then into turn 2. It's such a long turn that you hit that apex really early, drift out wide, tuck it in late, and accelerate again onto the straightaway.
Yeah, there's Miles Hewitt trying to take a little bit of a peek onto the back of Alex Garcia, but that didn't shake itself out. Jade Avedisi, and they were in the back looking ahead and behind. As we take a look back up at the front of the field, this other train that we were following here, Robusto, Jackson Bell, Maximilian Hewitt, that breakaway you were promising with Weisenberg and Kolbecker starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, I think Lucas Weisenberg is the quickest car of this group, and they are I wouldn't say making inroads, but they've stopped losing ground to the race leaders at the moment. So with Spike Kohlbacher in trail, this is a good duo here. Maybe if they do a little bit of that co-opetition we always talk about, they could somehow reel in those front two. They must be dropping tires, Workman and Wagner, because there's dust hanging in the air.
Yeah, there certainly is. It was Gresham Wagner. We are hearing that it was Gresham Wagner that actually did it. So Gresham definitely still pushing here at this point, despite being up in the front of the field. He's laying down a 1:38.9. And compare that to Weston Workman. He's 0.4 of a second faster than Weston Black.
Yeah, Weisenberg effectively matched that. But Gresham Wagner has not won all these races. He doesn't have a 40-point championship lead by not trying. He's pushing every lap of this race. And on pole, he was able to just put everything in the rearview mirror and drive away from all the action we've been following so far. And it has been pretty exciting and spicy. Robusto, Jackson Bell, and Max Hewitt, 5th, 6th, 7th.
All right, let's see if Jackson's got a little bit of a run here. Thought about it down to the inside of turn 5, but backed out and decided to stay in line. Again, to your point earlier in the race, Kyle, I wonder if we're entering into a little bit of that saving phase of this race. This is a highly abrasive track. We know that to be the case, and I wonder if a lot of these drivers are thinking, you know what, I'm going to save my stuff here and really make a push in the last 10 laps.
Well, you've got your groups established now, right? I mean, we've seen this every racetrack we go to. The cars sort of end up in groups of 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't really get the massive pack racing you might see in some other single make series. It allows you to strategize a little bit. For Lucas Weisenberg and Kohlbacher, there's no real point for them to fight yet. They will when it gets down to the end of the race, but right now they can focus on working together. And so you get this little pocket of strategy in the middle of these events where you're thinking more about 10, 12 minutes from now than in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. As we take another look here at Gresham Wagner, your leader, he does hold the fastest lap of the race with a 1:38.444. Just beautiful precision around this circuit.
I mean, the neutral steer he has in that car. He went through turn 17 onto the front stretch. He was turning left, but the front tires were turning right. He has it driving in a slide, just very gently yawed out. He just looks so comfortable in this car. And when he signed on with Copeland Motorsports earlier this year and announced that, you know, coming to the championship winning team from last year, everybody said, this is the guy we have to beat. It has proven true, but as of late, you know, the dominance has sort of subsided a bit. He has still won some races, but it hasn't been a blowout like it was in the first part of the year. But today, he looks right back on form. Shot a flame out the tailpipe there. I always say, DJ, cars that shoot fire are better than cars that don't shoot fire.
Oh, there's no question about that one. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, I mean, Gresham has, even when he has been in defeat, and by that I mean second, third through fifth, I don't think he's not had a top 10 this year. He has always looked so in control of this car. This is a driver that just understands what this GR86 platform is and what it can do. He never looks like he's pushing over the limit of the car. It's always nice and contained.
Speaking of pushing over the limit, how about this group back here? P5, P6, and that's Jackson Bell, and he's chasing Will Robusto, and they were nose to tail coming down into the museum complex here. This group still seems like they're fighting pretty hard, and if anybody makes a mistake, the rest are going to pounce.
Yeah, and Jackson Bell, I can't tell if that is an attack move or if that is a defensive move there, because Maximilian Hewitt was looking pretty feisty there behind him as well, but the 11 of Robusto holding out well. They've got to be a little bit careful because this has slowed them down a little bit, and they've welcomed to the party Mia Lovell in that number 57.
If I was given a report card for how aggressive Robusto is around here, I'd give him an A+ and extra credit for how he's taking turn 12. I mean, he just drives over the whole car, almost 4 tires in the grass before the curb starts, just trying to shorten that up, straight line the run into turn 13. And, you know, I wonder how much of that is defensive and how much of it is offensive, but it's been fun to watch.
Yes, I think is the answer to your offensive or defensive question. Here's Jackson Bell. Wider line coming down through the Alabama roller coaster, clearly trying to diamond off that corner a little bit, obviously taking the entrance and exit narrow and letting the car wash up. That's what we mean by diamonding. Let's see what he's able to do. Big look down to the inside, thought better of it, and he comes back, but gives a little bit of a how you doing there to Robusto.
And here comes Max Hewitt to the inside, open the door wide open for the blue and black BSI car. And the 11 kind of moved on the braking there, braked across the racetrack. That's generally a no-no, but I think the contact wasn't really a direct result of that. So it's going to reshuffle the order. The 39 is going to split the difference between the 11 and the 99. And here comes Devin Anderson from Tech Sport Racing into the mix as well.
Yeah, Anderson's teammate Spike Kolbeck are a little bit farther up the field here at this point, but Devin's had some really good growth over the course of this season. He came in, he was a little bit farther down in the field, frankly surprised us a little bit because he's used to racing these type of cars in the past, but he's really looked more at home in these cars as time has gone along.
Yeah, and Devin Anderson also ran in the GR Cup Esports League last week to get some prep here and actually had a pretty good run in that event. Learned a lot about how these cars would race in a pack sort of condition here, and that might be helping him in the heat of battle here. And he's got Mia Lovell packed in right behind him.
Yeah, Mia always one to watch out for. Consistently the Endava highest finishing female in almost every race that she enters. She is just so good, so smooth, so put together. More dirt kicked up on the outside here. A little bit of a poke to the inside for Hewitt. Is he going to go for it on Robusto? Yes, he is.
And Robusto's a little wide, but he's got the inside line here for turn 2. Hewitt's going to try to tuck up underneath. Robusto doesn't leave the door open wide enough to jam 39 down inside. So this battle will continue at the crest of the Alabama roller coaster.
Yeah, but the narrower line there for the 39 of Hewitt looked like it helped him on corner exit, but now here comes Bell attacking to the outside, looking for the long way around into Charlotte's Web. That's not going to work, and Devin Anderson says, I'll take that. Contact there between Bell and Anderson, and it's going to be an old-fashioned drag race.
Yeah, I don't think Bell really wanted that 22 to get the nose down to the inside. He tried to dissuade it by moving left, but the slightest bit of contact is going to put the 22 alongside him. So it's Robusto and Hewitt side by, or nose to tail, and then side by side behind them.
Yeah, Bell able to get that move back on Devin Anderson. That is just sheer tenacity that allowed that move to happen. So very, very good stuff for him. But Anderson very hot on his heels, looking to try to close back in on it here at this point. Climb up and over the curbs. Anderson, wow. I mean, that's like a quarter car length in between the two?
Just the amount of commitment these drivers show, and they can only do this because of the balance of this race car, that almost near perfect 50-50 weight distribution. It's so fun to watch them just throw these things around like it owes them money. It's fantastic stuff.
Oh, it's absolutely great as Hewitt continues the attack here on the back of Robusto, but Bell looking behind him the entire time. And Mia Lovell loving to see this happen. She's able to just close up on in and bring everything up forward. Let's see if anything plays out in the background there. That's Jordan Rick-Sigrini that you just saw coming into the back of the shot. He currently runs in 10th. That is your top 10.
We still got 21 minutes of racing to go, so plenty of time for things to get interesting. Jackson Bell, we saw the Continental tires take a hard left on the entrance to turn 2. He's driving that car in a slide as well. And now this one group of 5 is broken into a group of 2 and 3. And
Will Robusto's got to be a little bit careful here at this point. The RVA Graphics Motorsports by-speed syndicate driver has officially been given a warning by race control for blocking.
Yeah, that goes back to the defense on, I think it was Jackson Bell down at turn 5, braking across the racetrack. You know, once you get to the braking point, you've chosen your line. You can move in defense, but you can't do it in reaction to a trailing car, so that's what that's all about. But he'll know that and carry on in the run down to the corkscrew. Turns in there, you see, and you hear the tires squealing. They're absolutely at the grip limit of these cars.
Yeah, this Continental rubber does an absolutely fantastic job of keeping these cars on the road, but they put as much pressure and as much force through these Continental tires as you can imagine. Good run there through 10 and 11 for Devin Anderson as he also takes a creative interpretation of track limits.
I swear you could make this place 3 miles wide and they'd still be at the edge of it. This is fantastic as they run up the hill, turn 15 rather, is the 11 again warned for that blocking maneuver. And again, I think it was back at turn 5 on Jackson Bell that that was the situation we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Kyle, talk us through this.
So we saw this the first time. So up the back straightaway towards turn 5. Watch the 99 pops out. Now he's made his move. You see Robusto move left there. You can't do that. So that's what the race control doesn't want you to do. The trailing car has the ability to pick a line. The lead car, once they've picked it, that's all they can do.
Yeah. Exactly. As the battle up ahead there, Spike Kohlbecker and Lucas Weisenberg getting a little bit close, but still just holding on. Let's keep an eye here, though, on Mia Lovell. She tries to get a good run. Oh, side by side, Casey Bashore, Jade Avedizian.
Yeah, this is a good battle. The 50 in the yellow car, the 24. And look at how tight that is. You can't slot a piece of paper between these two, all the way out to the curbing at the exit of turns 2 and 3. And Jade's going to have drivers left, and then it's a braking duel here. Who's got more Alcon brake down into turn 5?
Jade's going to have that preferred line. She's slightly later on the binders. A little bit of a push out there. Bashore looks for the crossover. Nice move for Casey. Contact between the two. A little bit of how you do it, but Jade's going to come back on it. It's not quite done yet. They're still side by side. It's going to be another battle of the late breakers coming down into the corkscrew. Here they go. Avedizian's got the line. Avedizian's got the position.
A little hip and shoulder, and the Nitro Motorsports 24 is through on the 50, and it took a little bit of persuasion to get it done. And Bashore saw the door open and crossed over, but it's just hard to get the power down and dig up out of turn 6 to carry that speed up onto the backstretch.
And that was
the curb. Sorry, DJ. Just the assault on the curbing through here. It's so aggressive.
It's violent in the best possible way. That move, by the way, was for 14th position. We check back in on that battle for the final podium position that I mentioned here a little bit earlier, as that was Lucas Weisenberg and Spike Kohlbecker. That was Mia Lovell on the background going very wide.
Yeah, so at some point, these drivers are going to look out the windshield and say, no way, we can't catch those front two. And at some point, they're going to light the afterburners here and go to battle, and I think we're about there. I mean, 18 minutes to go. Could they, in theory, run the front two down? Yeah, but I think they would have had to have started the momentum a lot sooner. So Spike Kohlbecker is going to say, all right, we have resided to the battle for third. I want third. I'm going to go make this pass. It looks out of line and try to see if he could spook Weisenberg into missing the corner.
Yeah, but Lucas absolutely together there. No movement at all, keeping everything right where he needed to be. Did not respond to that attack from Spike Kohlbecker. That's exactly what he needed to do. Kohlbecker doing it again, coming down the back straightaway with an added flash of the headlights as well.
Yeah, that's just cheeky. Again, that won't really distract the drivers, but it makes you feel good inside the cockpit, doesn't it, to throw the flashers on and try to distract that car out ahead of you. With 17 minutes to go, the battle for the last step on the podium is still there. And I think for both Spike and Lucas Weisenberg, the mission at this point in the year is just to win races and to win podiums and get those trophies. And here we go again. This is the sequel to what we saw a lap ago.
And Jade Avedizian still going to be able to hold on to that position. This time she was able to make the move a little bit before that corner, so that helped her out a little bit more. That's Ford Cook coming up behind as well as Stephen Clements. So this is a nice little battle with these four cars.
We might see a trilogy better than Lord of the Rings here if the 50 can get up alongside the 24. These two are just absolutely at it. Again, watch just the aggression on the curbing there. Big clout on the left, all four tires on the right. Look at Ford Cook there too. This is fantastic stuff.
And just point of order, there is no trilogy better than Lord of the Rings.
Well, this one might be, DJ. At least this one's live, right?
That's a good point. But here at this point, Casey Bashore taking a very wide line. Ooh, that may open up the door here for Ford Cook down to the inside. Cook certainly thinks so. Carries a good line, carries good momentum, kicks out onto the grass a little bit. He's carrying so much speed here. Ford, is he going to take a poke out to the inside? I don't think he's quite close enough to really do anything into turn one. They'll stay in line here at this point. Jade Avedizian hoping that they fight a little bit more and let her hold on to that 14th place position.
So fun to watch the entropy of all these battles completely change from the straightaways to the corners. It's like on the straights, they're just line astern. If you're looking down the barrel, you can only see one car. You get to the corner and they all fan out because they all want to see the braking zone. And who are they going to see? There comes the 21. Again, this is what we're talking about.
Oh, I thought Ford was going to absolutely send that to the inside of the Bashore Auto Body number 50. Oh, but Casey a little bit off into the grass on the outside of turn 5, causing a big wiggle. Ford Cook with aggressive as we've seen that purple machine be. I've got to think they're thinking about a move. Not going to go for it here, though. But this is all music to the eyes there of Stephen Clements. Clements very close to the back of this pack.
Yeah, he might just want to sit back here and let these two get side by side because when the elbows start flying, he can just squeeze on through. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. But for the 76, I think he's going to want these spots. P17, I know he's quicker than this, but qualifying didn't quite go his way this morning.
Yeah, it really didn't. And that's kind of one of the things we see here in GR Cup. You mentioned the lock and the battles that kind of lock in. If you don't get a good jump on the field, you can't make up a bunch of positions off the drop of the green, you are going to get locked in the battle. But this is the battle currently for P3 that we've been following. Lucas Weisenberg, Spike Kohlbecker with 15 minutes left to go.
I don't know how he did it, but that right side mirror has corrected itself on the 55. that was knocked out earlier. At least it was pushed in, like folded in. And maybe, I mean, I'm sure they retain their power mirrors, right? So all factory electronics other than the Bosch engine management. So maybe he just gave the switch a little push and maybe it popped itself back into position. He doesn't need that though right now. All that he needs to see is out the windshield.
Yeah, and it's really and truly Lucas Weisenberg, the one that's going to need a little bit of those rear view mirrors. He takes a look behind him as they dive into Museum Corner. And it just looks like Kohlbecker here, he looks like he's so close, so tantalizingly close to making this move, but it's just not quite there.
Yeah, and you just have to wonder with 14 minutes to go, is there still an inkling of patience that Kohlbecker is displaying for the time being? It's really tough to tell when drivers like this, you know, they're able to drive very fast while still conserving. And you know, the question becomes, when do you, well, you see Weisenberg pushing the limit. When do you really, you know, put the boxing gloves on and go to town here in the next 15 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, that's the real question here is when do the teams make that call? When does the driver make that call to take those gloves off, to go absolutely full bore? I've got to think it's starting to come soon. 13 and a half minutes left to go. You don't have that much time left in the race. You've got to go, and you've got to go now.
Again, we were talking about the GR Cup Esports League race that the 22 ran, and I've been noting all year long that the way the cars had been racing was pretty similar, and it seems like the same is true here. Just tight packs of cars. We don't see the you know, the field itself is spread out, but still very tight groups. As you hear the tires just absolutely just getting their neck wrung through there at the turn 2 compression. So the driver's just absolutely on the limit.
Yeah, and this again that we're watching right now, this is the battle for 5th position. Will Robusto, Max Hewitt, and Jackson Bell. Bell's been shuffled back a little bit more. Oh, wide run there for Will Robusto. That opens up the door here for Maximilian Hewitt.
He's got the right rear bumper clips kind of dragging that bumper cover in a parachute. I don't know if it'll be that big of a deal, but they're going to go side by side into turn 8, and here comes Bell through as well. So Max Hewitt loses a few to Robusto and Bell.
Great heads up there from Jackson Bell. Saw that opportunity set up by the pass, knew who was more than likely going to lose out on it, and tucked up right behind Will Robusto. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Jackson Bell to recover back into 6th place.
I don't know what Max Hewitt has done yet, though, carrying the flag for BSI Racing. I think he'd like to have another crack at the 99 in this battle for P5. Huge commitment there up over the crest. Devin Anderson just inside the top 10, P8, Neil Level P9, Jordan Rixagrini P10. And through the last few corners, carrying as much speed as they can.
And we just saw there a prime example of what you were talking about earlier, Kyle, that wide line coming through 15 and 16. I thought for sure that we were going to see Maximilian Hewitt send the car up to the inside of Jackson Bell, but Hewitt kind of recognizing that move wasn't really going to play out and letting Bell have that position.
He's been a pretty smart driver this season, hasn't he? Not really sticking the nose in places it doesn't belong, and plotting and planning and playing this. I always talk about racing as a chess match that you have to think 5 moves ahead. It's a strategy game. You just also happen to have to execute things as well. And maybe I've spoken too soon, DJ, about the 39.
Yeah, it looks like they have been given a warning for incident responsibility with car number 11 at turn 5. That's Will Robusto. I believe we saw that on screen, that coming together that obviously broke apart that rear fender clip.
Yeah, so that's just a warning. It's no action that the 39 has to take, but you're on the naughty list, so you've got to make sure that you don't disappoint Santa here in the last 11 minutes of this one.
Exactly. Jackson Bell carrying a little bit more speed here, trying to carry it out of turn 9 right now into 10 and 11. Let's see if he's got anything here for Will Robusto. Will's driven a really good race here. I'm very, very impressed by Will. We haven't always seen this car up into the pointy end of the field. When it has, Will is always impressed.
Yeah, and again, talking about the aggression level he's displayed, extracting all the pace he can out of it, utilizing every ounce of pavement around this 2.3-mile circuit, and it's paid off. A top 5 is on the horizon, but he's got a handful of cars right behind him that would rather have that spot.
Yeah, I mean, they really want to try to get on by him. Jackson Bell, most in particular. You know, I had a chance to talk to him after Road America, that incredible wet, dry race that we had, where he came home in 2nd. And I came up to him, I said, man, that was one of the best races I've ever seen you drive. And he just kind of looked at me and said, yeah, man, And that's the kind of driver Jackson Bell is.
You know, I think that's telling, though, because, you know, not winning, it doesn't necessarily mean that your drive wasn't amazing, right? There is such talent here in this series, and I think if you're up in the top 10, top 5 battling for podiums, you've proven something. These are some of the best single-make racers in the world that we've got here up at the pointy end, and they've shown that not only in this championship, but in others, and it really has been fun to watch them come to Toyota GR Cup and put on a show.
Yeah, speaking of putting on a show, we saw these drivers put on a good show earlier in the race. Jade Avedisi and Casey Mashore, they were side by side for however many corners it was, and Jade is doing a good job here. We've seen that she can attack. She's now playing really good defense on Mashore as that number 50 is poking and prodding, trying to find a way by. May have a way by here out of turn 5.
Yeah, great acceleration. Now clicking up through the gears in that set of 6-speed sequential, and they're going to be in lockstep here, nose to nose down the back straightaway towards the run down into 8. And who gets there first? Neither of them. Slide, contact, fender to fender.
Yeah, neither one of them wanted to give way there at that point. It's going to be Jade Avedisian that just has a little bit of an edge, but Casey Mashore looking all kinds of out of control, coming down into Museum Corner. Lucky that that 50 was able to be gathered up and in control.
And nobody conceding, and here comes the 21 with a big run. Does he look left or right? It's a left, down into turn 12. This is a tough pass to make. We saw this go wrong earlier, and it does not this time. They tuck back in line, stay single file.
Yeah, Ford Cook just trying to find that opportunity if it presents itself. Watch this. If Casey drifts wide, I've got a sneaking suspicion Ford may try to dart it up the inside. No, I stand corrected.
We saw that go wrong earlier too, didn't we?
Yeah,
Between
we did.
these two cars. So again, every opportunity, every pass attempt is an opportunity to learn. But Cook this time throttles up through the dirt and has a run onto the front stretch. Turn 1, not a great place to make an overtake, and I think Cook has learned that.
No, you've got to be very, very aggressive and very assertive to be able to make that move work through turn 1. We saw a couple of drivers do that earlier in the race, but it is few and far between that can make it work. Jade Avedisian loving seeing this battle out of her rearview mirror, though. It's given her a little bit of a chance to scamper away.
Yeah, as long as the drivers in the rearview keep battling, she might be able to put distance on them. She's got pace, but Casey Mashore, I'd imagine that he could be a little hotter than the helmet after the contact. That just makes you drive even harder in the closing stages of this one. Team's telling you there's just 8 minutes, just a few laps left to go, and everybody extracting all the road they can at the exit of 6.
Back up to that battle we've been following this entire race long, as this is Robusto leading over Bell, leading Hewitt and Anderson there a little bit farther back. They look like they dropped me a level a little bit, and we really focus our eyes on this main battle between Robusto and Bell.
Yeah, Bell and Robusto way out wide into the dirt. Huge sideways slide like they're driving rally cars. That was fun to watch, but too much, too quick. And here comes the 39 of Hewitt back into the mix.
Yeah, Jackson did a good job of arresting his momentum there at turn 16, stopping it with enough to be able to really stop Hewitt from getting a full train to run. Yeah, and now he's weaving a little bit, trying to clean up those Continental tires.
Yeah, running way out wide, you're going to pick up grass and dirt and things, and when the tires are so hot, it's just going to stick to it like glue, so you have to kind of weave back and forth, grind that stuff off. You see the grass clippings flying as well, and it's plugged up the front grille on that car as well. It can make it run hot as Hewitt looks to the inside.
Yeah, look to the inside there at that point, tried to be able to get the move, didn't let it play out. Spike Kohlbecker, by the way, just set a personal best, so we'll keep an eye there on that battle between himself and Weisenberg if anything comes from that, but this is the one to watch right now.
It has been, hasn't it? And the commitment levels between those two is, I think, enough for the rest of the field. The battle they've had. I mean, just the driving they've put on it, the car control that they've displayed, even in moments of lack of control, has been fun to watch.
Yeah, it certainly has. What that really did here at this point, though, is that separated the battle with Robusto and Bell. It's put Bell a little bit on the back foot. He's now a little bit more in line to be challenged by Maximilian Hewitt. And it's given Robusto a little bit of room to breathe.
Yeah, and I think Bell was following Robusto last time around and just sort of followed Will right off the racetrack. Little target fixation there. Instead of hitting his own marks, he was hitting the 11. So when the 11 missed, so did he. And here's that battle for 30 we're just mentioning. With 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go, Spike Kohlbecker has begun to launch his attack on Lucas Weisenberg.
Yeah, he's trying to see what he's able to get here. Let's see if Spike's got anything left. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. It is game on for Spike Kohlbecker. He did run about a 1/10 of a second faster than Weisenberg did on the last lap, but even if he's faster, he's still got to overtake the young driver of the 46.
These two drivers, you see the hands inside the cockpit, sawing at the wheel, keeping the cars pointed the right direction. They are both pushing now. If they weren't before, with less than 5 minutes to go, it's full defense for the 46, full offense for the 55.
Yeah, it certainly is here as they go, almost making contact with the back there of the Lucas Racing gear wrench number 46 was Spike Kohlbecker. Now out of turn 5, here they come, flying towards the museum corner. That's Weston Workman that you see just in front of you there at that point. Little flash of the headlights by Kohlbecker to see if he can get him offline. Lucas Weisenberg not dissuaded.
Yeah, points pay out a little more in third than they do in fourth, obviously. And I know while the championship has a pretty significant advantage for Gresham Wagner, there's still other positions that could be swapped around here. Spike Kohlbecker has 154 points. Lucas Weisenberg just 85. So Lucas needs them more than Spike does to catch Jackson Bell, who's fourth in the standings.
Oh, Stephen Clements, big hit there. That looks like left suspension damage.
The right rear is out. You see the right rear tire is not that's a subframe. Something's gone horribly wrong on that car. I'm not sure if there was contact or if something broke, but he comes to a stop just at the exit of turn 1. And if the race control feels like they can't leave that car there, this reduces the opportunities for Spike Kohlbecker to catch Weisenberg if we were to get a late race yellow.
Yeah. And dare I say, if we get a late race yellow at this point, it may end it. I mean, we've only got 3.5 minutes left to go. So let's hope that does not happen here. We'd like to see this race finish under green, if at all possible.
Yeah, and I think in the position that that the 76 was in, he might be able to reverse up the pit out too. That's probably, well, I'm not sure if he'll want to do that at the exit of 1. Either way, 3.5 minutes to go, and we stay green for now.
We stay green as Jackson Bell tries to claw back in that ground he lost on Will Robusto. Here he comes up and over turn 4. Not looking like he's close enough to be able to make the play, but he's darting around a little bit, trying to get into the head of him.
Yeah, Bell might need to just surprise the 11. Remember the last time that happened, the 11 got a warning for blocking. So if you can draw him into that defense again, that might bode well for him. So follow him, wait till you have an opportunity, pop out of line. Even if you don't intend to make the pass, put that driver in the position to make that mistake again.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to think about it there, Kyle. We'll have to see if that's what he decides to do. Looks like he's got a little bit more momentum mid-corner, trying to roll it out on the exit right now, pushing his way towards 10 and 11. Let's see if he's able to pick up anything here. Not looking like it. 2 good lines, both for Robusto and for Bell.
Yeah, in the last couple laps of this race, you're going to have to really carry speed and close up this gap. If you can just get close enough to make that front driver a little nervous, that's going to be the best place for you to be. But both drivers stay on course that time over the crest at turn 13. And into the triple apex right-hander. Battle for P5 still yet to be determined.
I just want to point out and commend the 2 leaders up at the front of the field. They're within 3.5 to 4/10 of a second of their best laps of the day. They are just flying. There has never been any doubt that Gresham Wagner and Weston Workman were going to be on this podium.
Yeah, have you been wondering why they're leading the championship? Well, I haven't after today with the show that they've put on. So I think that's something to consider. They've put themselves in position in the championship. They've put themselves in position in the race. All this battling's been great to watch, but Wagner and Workman haven't had to do it.
Yeah, by the way, race control putting out an issue that car 76 and 21, that incident is under review. That is Stephen Clements, and that is
Ford Cook.
Thank you.
And the 76 was the one we saw pull off with that suspension issue, so there must have been some car-to-car contact, but with just the last minute of this, here comes Jackson Bell. He's got the 11 on defense. This is defensive driving here, but it might put him offline on the run down to turn 8. Real straight line over the crest here, and Jackson Bell is close, but no cigar just yet.
He's going to keep on pushing here at this point as there comes Gresham Wagner through the last couple of corners. He's going to come up and over the hill, a little bit of lap traffic to deal with in front of him. Down through 16 and now into the left-hander of turn 17 comes Gresham Wagner. Under the throttle, here he goes, and white flag in the air, blue flag to the car in front of him. 1 lap to go for Gresham Wagner.
Yeah, Gresham has just been relentless in speed. How about the battle for 5th, though? It's not over yet. The 11 Will Robusto defensive. Here comes Max Hewitt up to the inside of Jackson Bell. 3-horse race for 5th place with 2.5 miles to go.
Nice heads up there from Hewitt to try to get it, but Bell is able to defend off of the line here at this point. That's going to cost him a little bit of time up to Robusto. He's going to have to try to make that back here on the last lap.
Yeah, 2.3 miles left, 17 turns for Jackson Bell, and he almost had the 11 in the crosshairs, but then Max Hewitt had other ideas. So now that he's dispatched the blue and black BSI car, he can focus out the windshield again, at least for now.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see if he's able to do it or not.
The 11 was so close to the edge of the road there, and you've got the left side tires loaded. If you drop one into the grass, that could shoot you across the racetrack very, very quickly.
Yeah, very, very sketchy stuff, but these drivers are absolutely in control of the car. Jackson Bell's gotten it back down under a car length here as they come out of turn 5, trying to put the power down as they climb back up the hill, moving their way towards the museum corner. Bell pokes to the right, not going to happen there for him just yet. He'll have to stay in line on Robusto.
He is saving up the pennies to cash out at the end of this race, and he's got a half a lap left to do it through turn 8 and 9 and up into the chicane at 10 and 11. The gap is big enough, but remember where he closed it last time around, it was the last 3 corners.
This is very true here. Robusto going to try to hold on as much as they can, but that's not going to be of concern to Gresham Wagner through the final corner, as he's done so many times this season. It's victory for the number 5 for Copeland Motorsports and for the one and only Gresham Wagner.
Just absolutely clinical, as always, for the number 5 from Copeland Motorsports. Weston Workman is going to come home in 2nd place. The battle for 3rd, I think, has been mostly settled, but the battle for 5th, down to the last corner, the 11 of Robusto has done a phenomenal job, DJ, and he is going to come through. Will Robusto in the RVA Graphics Motorsports by Speed Syndicate car will grab the last step in the top 5. Jackson Bell, P6, Max Hewitt 7th, then Devin Anderson, Mia Level, and Jordan Rick-Segrini. What a battle in this race. And it has been a fun one to watch. A few more cars coming to the checkers here. The 14, Alex Garcia. The 17, Miles Hewitt in his first weekend of competition in Toyota GR Cup. To the line, Alex Garcia, Miles Hewitt. Who gets there first? It is going to be Garcia, I believe, by just a 1/10 of a second over Miles Hewitt. Jade Avedizian will grab 14th place. That was a great battle all the way to the checkers between those two. Matty Oust in the 09 and the 75 car of Miki Onaga are the next drivers across the stripe here, down towards the tail end of the top 20. And that Endava 09 car from BSI Racing comes through in 18th place. There's the hand out the window for Gresham Wagner, getting some well-deserved cool, fresh air inside the cockpit of the number 5 Copeland Motorsports car. And job well done for Gresham Wagner. It's just been an unbelievable season for Gresham. A 40-point advantage coming into this event, mathematically making it very difficult for Workman or Kohlbecker or anybody else to even have a shot at Indianapolis. Just 3 rounds remain in this championship for 2024 and the 2nd year of competition for Toyota GR Cup North America. As we have a look at the results for race 1 here at Barber Motorsports Park, it's Gresham Wagner ahead of Weston Workman by 7.8 seconds. Lucas Weisenberg in the Lucas Racing number 46 grabs the 3rd place and another podium over Spike Kohlbecker and Will Robusto in the top 5. Jackson Bell in the number 99 comes home in 6th place, just behind that number 11. But Max Hewitt almost had those two in that fierce fight for 5th we were following for the last 15 minutes of the race. Devin Anderson from Tech Sport Racing. It's a 2 top 10 race for Tech Sport, with Mia Level in the 57 in 9th and Jordan Rick-Segrini for BSI Racing in position number 10. Luke Rumberg, the RVA Graphics teammate to the number 11, up in the top 5, finishes 11th with Alex Garcia, beating out Miles Hewitt by just a 1/10 of a second to the stripe. Jade Avedizian rolls off 14th place in race 1 of the weekend. A nice climb from the tail of the grid after qualifying went a little sour this morning for her. In that fierce battle with Casey Mashore, they traded some paint and some vinyl back and forth a few times, and there's some yellow paint on that 14th place car for Jade. Ford Cook in the numbers 21 finishes 16th place with Aiden Kirk, Matty Oust, Miki Onaga, and Alfonso Diaz wrapping out the top 20. It was a great battle there, and really all through the race. We also didn't really get a chance to cover Henry Drury's issues. We saw him go off course early. He ends up P25. Jackson Tobo as well had a great start, but didn't end up where he probably deserved to based on his pace. The 14-year-old and only his third weekend of running in Toyota GR Cup North America. Well, Barber Motorsports, Bart, we knew this would be something different after the high speeds at Road America, the point-and-shoot nature of that place versus the camber and high-speed corners of this flowing 2.3-mile racetrack. The experience for Gresham Wagner, one of the few drivers in the field that has race experience here, has paid off, and he will extend his championship advantage. And Gresham Wagner is down with Amanda Busick. We'll talk to our winner.
And I think you just saw a high five with Gresham and his mom. I have to tell you, it never gets old watching her make her way here for the celebrations. Probably 5 minutes before you get here every time in anticipation for you. And Gresham, I know that you've had visits to Barber Motorsports Park prior to this race. How much did that help you today?
I mean, it's always been one of my favorite tracks, if you ask anybody. I've been waiting for one of the series I've raced in to come back here. So when I saw that this was announced at the end of last year, I was super excited. I mean, it suits these cars great. It's a perfect, perfect size, perfect flowing nature, and you know, I think I was just kind of had this one circled on the calendar to show up because I wanted to put on a performance like that.
I think for the fans, you know, we can see him sitting underneath the trees over there. But as a driver, what makes this place so enjoyable?
I think it's just nothing feels awkward on this track. You know, some tracks have some complexes that don't really make sense. You know, sometimes it's a bit awkward with different cars. You know, it's meant for faster cars or slower cars, but this track, it just, everything pairs perfectly with this car and what it's able to do. So you never feel like it's out of place here. It just works like it should.
That makes 11 total career wins for Gresham Wagner in the Toyota GR Cup Series.
And Gresham continues to impress in just a clinical nature the way he races here with experience at this racetrack. He will extend his points advantage over Weston Workman here, 229 to 181 for Workman. Spike Kohlbecker tried to make some ground but will not. 166 points to Jackson Bell's 139 and Weisenberg at 100. It's very much Gresham Wagner's championship to lose here. Mathematically, maybe still possible for Weston Workman, but it will require a lot of bad luck for the number 5. Well, that was a fantastic first race. Let's have a look at the highlights from race number 1 from Barber Motorsports Park. 45 minutes of action, and we felt like we were here for 2 hours worth. It was spectacular, this run down to turn 1. We thought we'd see some cars go wide. It was the 50 of Casey Mashore and the 75, the Tory car, that had to go for a little off-track excursion at the Alabama roller coaster. Then the 55 of Spike Kohlbecker drives right on by Jackson Bell, who went off course at turn 17. Then Robusto in the number 11 and Lucas Weisenberg door to door through the opening corner. Weisenberg wiggling his way by as he got through turn number 2 and made his way through the Alabama roller coaster into the podium spot. A defensive line there from the 11 got him in the eye of the stewards for blocking and then opened the door for Max Hewitt in the number 39. Then it was the Nitro Motorsports 24, the Mashore Auto Body 50 that traded some yellow paint here a couple of times in their fierce battle for about 14th spot. Back and forth, over and unders, and it was a trilogy we got to see time and time again. A little body contact there between those two. Then the battle continued even further on into the corkscrew down at the museum corner, turns 8 and 9, and once again a little clouding of the body panels between the 24 Jade Avedisian and the 50 of Casey Mashore. And then this moment between the 11 and the 99, a big wiggle there as they pushed for the battle for the top 5. But it was Gresham Wagner in the number 5 that continues growing his advantage in Toyota GR Cup North America with race 2 on the horizon.